The history of basketball. Imagine you're a PE coach and you want your students to be able to play a sport during winter. So one day you and your students set up 2 baskets on opposite sides and played with a soccer ball. Believe it or not, this is how the first basketball game was played. Millions of people worldwide play or watch basketball, yet many don't know the sport's history. Basketball has not only changed itself over time, but has impacted other sports. So if you're into sports, be curious about basketball because there's a lot to learn. I played basketball for 6 years, from 4th to 9th grade. I love basketball and I've always had questions about the sport. So let's review how basketball became what it is today. The main focus is to truly understand the creation of basketball and the important dates and people of the sport. It is essential to understand the evolution of basketball to understand the game. Basketball is one of the many things that have entertained the American people for many generations. First, we'll see how the sport was invented. Next, we'll visit essential events, teams, and people of the sport. And lastly, we'll discuss the evolution of basketball. First, let's see the invention of basketball. To begin, let's discuss the start of the sport. Basketball was invented by James Naismith, who was a physical education teacher. He invented the sport in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891. Naismith wanted a less violent indoor sport so his students could stay active during winter. He wanted to design a sport focused on teamwork and skill and lessening physical contact. Britannia 2024, page 1. Naismith originally had only 13 basic rules. The first game consisted of 9 team members and was played with a soccer ball. The points were given to the team that scored a basket, which set the foundation for what turned out to be a great sport. History, page 1. Fact Monster 2017 says the first hoops were just peach baskets, and the first backboards were made of wire. Page 2. That's how basketball started. Next, let's adventure to essential events, teams, and people of basketball. Let's uncover the teams and events of basketball history. Everyone knows Michael Jordan, and he, like many others, began basketball because someone inspired them to. Jordan started to play basketball because his older brother Larry played it. Jordan idolized his brother and wanted to follow in his footsteps. Biography 2023, page 4. Famous players like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Steph Curry also started playing basketball because someone inspired them. According to NBA Files 2024, the first ever college basketball game occurred in January 1896. The University of Iowa and the recently established University of Chicago faced off in an experimental match. By a score of 15-12, the University of Chicago defeated Iowa in this match. Page 5. The NBA was created in 1949 by 2 rival teams. The first NBA game was between the New York Knickerbockers and the Toronto Huskies. When the Knickerbockers won 68-66. An essential event for the sport is the golden age of basketball. This is between the 1980s and the 1990s. It's called the golden age of basketball. It's called the golden age because of the raging rivalry between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. This era gave us the legends like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Lastly, we'll discuss the evolution of basketball. So let's see how basketball has changed since its creation. Since its original game, the rules of basketball have changed. Initially, the game didn't have an official set of rules, so we created our own over time. The first basketball game had 9 players on each team, and now we only have 5. According to Hooptastic, the first basketball games were played with soccer balls. However, they proved to be unsuitable for dribbling and ball handling. Similar to how the ball has changed, the rules of dribbling have also changed. In the first game of basketball, dribbling wasn't allowed. Later, the rule was changed so that you could dribble once, but you had to pass the ball immediately. The rule now is to dribble constantly, but once you stop, you can't dribble again, or you will get a double dribble penalty. Basketball is a vital sport grounded in American history. People have played it for years. Like football, it's a staple of American life. We are making it one of the world's most diverse and popular sports. FIBA Basketball 2024 says, with almost 3 out of 4 people being interested in basketball in the research territories, this makes it the second most popular sport globally, behind football. This was also underlined by interest growing from 68% to 14% between 2019 and 2023 on page 4. So basketball has established, so basketball is a popular sport that has a lot of people's interest. Now we'll wrap up everything we learned about basketball. Basketball is a vital sport that many people enjoy. It started with just 2 baskets and a soccer ball, and now it's an Olympic sport. With the sport comes some famous players that we've all come to know and love, like Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Basketball created its own rules and went from being played with 18 people down to 10. Basketball has progressed over the last century, but the main purpose remains: have fun and work together. That is the true meaning of basketball.